Back when Ratchet was a ratchet and the Vixen was a vixen and Jam Master Jay was alive. I was mixing, cooking coke in the kitchen back when Robin was a piston.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, Lifestyles Defined. Welcome back to another episode of AMA. If you are new here, you're not sure how this works, you ask your question in the comment section down below and we answer it in upcoming videos. Today's question comes from Bobby Wright, 2010. What exactly did Android market bring to the table this year that was so much different or new? Android has gotten stale and has ran out of ideas. Plus, look at how many markets they have failed at. Ooh. Well, it's a good question. I'm just trying to think what direction you're coming from. Like, are you an iOS boy? Are you a Windows boy? But nonetheless, objectively speaking, Android hasn't really brought much to the market this year, or nothing exciting, so to speak. But I would argue what they were working on is probably something that we can all appreciate. So without diving into a checklist from the last few versions of Android and the checklist that we see this year, I know Google's been aggressively attacking the behavior of the OS when it comes to its interaction with apps that are just open for a while. So they're attacking that. I don't care who you are, we're going to study what the user does, and if this thing's not needed, done. It doesn't occupy any time in RAM. It doesn't occupy any time, any CPU usage, which means it's a lot better on the battery. That's something that we can all appreciate. That's something that is very real that we all need. So yes, it's not any crazy new features and like we saw with the Google Assistant that could read your screen and give you contextual results based on what it's seeing on the display. It's not anything sexy like that, but it's something still needed. And then with the newer Pixel, we see a lot of machine learning things going on. So although I can say I agree with you that none of this stuff is really it's really exciting or sexy, it's still things that needed to be done. Some of it is housekeeping. Yes, they're going back and fixing some of the sloppy shit from before, but the machine learning stuff it's a baseline that is going to set the mile marker going forward. So let's give them that. In terms of the rest of the industry, I mean, I think the same could be said for everyone, right? Like Windows Phone, stale. That shit damn near doesn't exist. Yeah, that is what it is. iOS, I think iOS in the last few iterations of it have been adding some interesting tweaks here and there. But I feel like they're just being fueled by the third party or the jailbreak community, because a lot of the things Apple is adding in there either existed in Android or existed in the jailbreak community. So I'm not too quick to give Apple props for anything, but I feel you, and I want to point out that the entire industry is stale right now. I mean, there isn't too much more that we can do conceptually with a UI and a mobile OS that we haven't been already doing. And I challenge you, if you say it's stale, right? And this is how I always like to think to myself. If I say something is stale, what would I do? What suggestions do I have to jazz it up, to make it better? And I want to pose this question to everyone else watching the video. What would you do to make Android less boring? What would you do to make iOS less boring, right? That's a tough job. That's a difficult thing to answer, right? It's all about making things better. Meaning we had a feature, we existed over here, so we have an evolution of it. We give a minor iteration with bug fixes and performance increases and maybe a feature here and there. But it's difficult to just think, how can we just make this entirely new and exciting again? I don't know. I feel like we can be harsh on these companies because you're probably feeling what I'm feeling when I'm looking at a lot of these phones, and it's just like, Yeah, and so, like, I'm not entirely excited about anything in the mobile space right now. Not even the cameras, mainly because I got about 6 or 7 cameras running, like real cameras that I use because I'm a photographer. But even if I wasn't, I wouldn't be terribly excited. Do you remember that feeling when Nokia got on stage and say, "Hey, hi, this is my Lumia 1020, and it has a 41 megapixel camera," right? Like, you did he say something wrong? Or you read that article like, is that a typo? A 41 megapixel camera? Like, then you saw like the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus for the first time with the 2 curves on the side, and you're like, oh, this shit is beautiful. What a beautiful phone, right? We don't get that too often. And it's even Apple. When Apple comes with the Thunder with the iPhone X, there's going to be a lot of fanboys, iPhone fanboys. Oh my God, it's beautiful. And then we're just going to look at it like, yeah, well, I guess welcome to 2015. What the fuck? Well, like, it's a difficult thing. I get your question, but let's not say it's only Android. I think all of them, even desktop OSs. I mean, and to be honest, I've said this point before. This is probably a good thing that you're bored with your technology, providing that it works, because good technology is supposed to get out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, once you get that phone in your hand, oh yeah, it's faster, lighter, thinner. In a few weeks, in a few days even, it's just supposed to disappear. You turn that thing on to do your Snapchatting, your iMessaging, your Alloing, you know what I mean? You're Instagramming, you make your phone calls, whoever the hell does that anymore these days. This is what you do. You know, you don't want to be looking at your phone like, show me something new, you. Hey, wake up. Google on, do something new. Like, no, I wanted to do what I needed to do. And it's probably a good thing that you're bored of it, which means it's been working. So hopefully, you know, I gave you a good perspective on this one. I definitely feel the same way you feel quite often, because as a YouTuber and a technologist, I'm constantly invested in like, okay, what's new, and a lot of it I just scroll past, like, yeah, okay, well, you know, whatever. It's Xiaomi's new phone with more RAM in the process. Like, what the fuck? What does this do? Like, it can be annoying. In terms of Google failing in other markets, I mean, who the hell hasn't failed in other markets? Apparently, the only market that's worth anything now is China, and Apple's playing ball with the government. So that I don't like, but it is what it is. I mean, they all failed. Microsoft failed, and Android failed, and it's all a clusterfuck, man. I wouldn't blame it solely on Google, which is why I was trying to say, well, where are you coming from? Are you an iOS boy or are you a Windows boy? Because I get this question. This is a question, if I showed up at the Apple store, I'd be asking this question about iOS. Thank you, sir, for your question. I hope you enjoyed the answer. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check the links in the description below. You'll find all of our other channels, our gaming channel, which is ramping up because we've got the Forza 7 review coming, Gran Turismo is coming, Battlefront's coming. It's gaming season. There's a lot going on over there. We've got our photography channel, our sneaker channel. Check it out. My name is Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace. Well, I guess. And the reason we started Lifestyles Defined is because if we weren't on camera arguing about these things, the technologies, the phones, the iPhones, the Androids, the cameras, the games, we'd be on the phone arguing about it. We'd be in each other's houses arguing about it. So why not just put it in front of a camera for everyone to enjoy it the way we do? That's what Lifestyles Defined is all about. We just